Hi, I'm Dr. Lauren with Abundant Life Health Center, and in this video we're going to be going over a major component of our three-legged stool of spinal correction. The first leg of the three-legged stool is making sure you keep the rhythm of adjustment. That means keeping that consistent frequency that was recommended for your care. The second leg of the stool is the spinal rehab exercises that we're giving to you specific to your x-ray findings and your exam findings. And that third leg is what we're going over now about eliminating some bad habits that causes subluxations. When we talk about the causes of subluxations, most people think of car accidents, slips and falls, and sports injuries. But more commonly, it's the everyday postures that we're having, specifically things like using technology like computers and cell phones, and also how we sleep. All of this will have a cumulative effect and adding up and eventually a breakdown in our spinal health. What we're going to go today is over some of these bad habits and how to eliminate them. You'll find this on the back of your spinal rehab form, right in through here. The first bad habit that we're going to be going over is lifting. So when we want to lift, we want to make sure that we are right in front of the object that we are going to lift. Our feet are going to be pointing towards it, and we're going to be using our legs to squat down and lift up. We do not want to break that plane and just use our back lifting like this. We also don't want to be bending and twisting in that motion. If something's heavy and on the ground, we want to make sure that we're bending down with one knee, lifting it to a little bit higher of a surface, and then from there, bending down using our legs to lift it up. Another bad habit that we have is making sure how we sit on our computer. When we're sitting on the computer, we want to follow what we call the rule of 90. That means that your knees are at a 90-degree angle, our pelvis is a 90-degree angle, our arms are 90 degrees, and what we see, our vision, is 90 degrees. To be more specific, when we're sitting with the knees at 90 degrees, our thighs are going to be parallel with the floor. You don't want them to be tucked underneath like what you would see with a bar stool, and you don't want them to be out as if you're reclining or laying on the bed. Our hips, we want to be at a 90-degree angle, right in this position. You don't want to be bent over like you would find yourself working on a smaller table or even on your bed, or laying backwards in this position. With our arms, we want to be at a 90-degree angle with the elbow, so our keyboard and our mouse and our work area should be right in this area. You don't want it too low or too high, which sometimes will happen with standing desks. Our eye and our vision should be right in front of our monitor. So if you have a laptop or a tablet, you may need to get books to prop it up or even a stand to get it to that height. Once it's at this height, it could be a little bit higher. You just don't want to be looking down the whole time. And then also you don't want to be looking off to the side in this direction, but straight in front of you. With the computer use and technology in general, what's happening is what we call tech neck. That is when there's a decrease in the cervical curve and even a reversal, and that could cause health issues physically and physiologically. We're seeing it at a much earlier age with kids, as little as kindergarten, because they're working on the computers. We want to make sure that this is not going to be a major issue when they grow up. So we always want to make sure that everyone is getting their spine and nerve system checked. When we're talking about cell phone use, most people when they're using a cell phone are looking at it in this type of view. We want to make sure that it's in front of our eyes, just like this. So the easiest way that we have found is putting one arm right around your torso area, your other arm resting on it, and this causes a position where when it's in your hand, it's right in front of you. You'd be able to use this for any type of pamphlet, menu, or even a book. The last bad habit that we're going to be talking about is sleeping. The best way to be sleeping is going to be on your back. I'm going to be using a model to show you. When you're looking at the spine, you have three curves: in your neck, your mid-back, and your lower back. Sleeping on your back will be able to help maintain all of these curves. On your form, you may find that it shows that there's progressive rolls to use. You could also make sure that you have a supportive pillow underneath your cervical spine. When we get asked many times, a common question is, how big should the pillow be? We recommend it right around the thickness of your forearm. You also don't want to be stacking pillows up, so some people will sleep with multiple pillows. That causes your spine and your neck to be going forward, and it pushes that spine forward, causing subluxations here and in that mid-back. You always want to make sure that the nose is even with your spine. The next best way to sleep is on your side. When you're on your side, so you're not having that weird position of rolling forward and keeping some of your body straight and then your neck being turned in a different position, you want to make sure that you're putting pillows between your legs and even between your arms. The pillow for your neck should be right around this size because once again, you want to make sure your nose is following in that line with your spine. The worst way to sleep, and one way that's not recommended, is on your belly. When you're on your belly, you're not having that proper position of the spine, and you're also causing the neck to turn one way or the other because you're not going to keep it down in the pillow like that. When that happens, we're seeing subluxations throughout the entire spine. So when someone's sleeping on their stomach, we recommend them that they start off in the position on their back. In the middle of the night, if they find themselves waking up and they're on their stomach again, we just have them roll back over onto the back. After some time, they find that they're going to be laying on their back more and more, and that's going to be more of a common habit than what they were in the past. Once again, this is eliminating some of the bad habits so you don't create subluxations for your spine and will get the best results. I'm Dr. Lauren with Abundant Life. Remember to live abundantly.